Hi guys, good evening. It's Rob back for another video. It's Friday night in the UK, and yeah, it's it's time for another video. Um, yeah, first bit of good news. I'm feeling a lot better. I was pretty rough last week. Had a bit of a bug. Voice wasn't particularly great. Still got a bit of a dry cough, but that's all gone, done and dusted, and will soon be but a memory, as they say. So yeah, pleased to see the back end of that one. Yeah, so why am I here tonight? Okay, well, this is to help celebrate Chris Propfe, the musically obsessed VC member, who has very successfully just completed 200 subs, and obviously great thumbs up for that, Chris. You've done really well to do that. Seems to be a lot of people who are reaching milestones at the moment, which is great for the VC. We're all, in this to share the love of music and let people know what we're about and why we're into this amazing hobby. And yeah, so that's really, really well done. And to celebrate, he's put forward a contest, which I'd be very happy to put an entry in for. So without further ado, I'll get on with that. So his first question was first musical memory. Okay, well, my first musical memory was probably going back to when I was probably 4 or 5 years old. I mean, obviously, I've listening to music all my life. My mum used to read me stories and sing me lullabies and things like that, like a lot of mothers used to do and probably still do. And both my parents listened to a lot of music. I've mentioned this in a previous video, a lot of classical, Gilbert and Sullivan, bit of jazz, vocal jazz, Ella Fitzgerald, stuff like that. Stuff which I really, really like now and listen to and enjoy. But the first music that really made a big impression on me, and I have showed this before, was this record, which is the Beatles' Oldies But Goldies 1966 compilation album. And this is just, this was just a watershed for me, as it was for my brother before me who listened to it. And he always cites this as his first musical memory as well. I think this was probably the first pop album that we had in the house. I think it was actually my mum's record. This isn't the actual copy. This is a fame reissue that I bought in the 80s. But yeah, I mean, this was the first music that I heard, pop music, that really made a huge or big impression on me. And I've absolutely just loved the Beatles ever since, like millions of others. She Loves You, We Can Work It Out, Yesterday, I Feel Fine. I mean, just every single one doesn't need any introduction. They're just all absolute seminal classics, and they're just timeless. My favourite on this is Ticket to Ride. That's, if I had to pick a favourite Beatles song, which is quite difficult because they've done so many great songs, but Ticket to Ride is the one that really resonated with me and has stayed with me. And if I had to pick a favourite Beatles song, it would probably be that one. So yeah, so this probably is my first enduring musical memory, and certainly had the most sort of profound effect on me anyway. So yeah. Okay, song or artist performed at karaoke. I don't have a physical copy of this song or record, so I can't show it. But I haven't done karaoke for many years. I used to go to a pub which was in a village called Acox Green, which is in Birmingham. and it was a job that I used to do, a marketing job, probably about uh, 20 years ago now. And on a Friday night, we always used to, with the manager, we used to go over to the local pub in the village, where it was a sort of hotel, and they had a bar, and they used to have a karaoke machine, and which was very, very, very popular, especially in the late 90s. It was just becoming all the rage. Everybody was doing karaoke. Even people who couldn't sing could feel that they could get up after a few beers and do a turn, for better or for worse. Yeah, I mean, I was one of those people who would get up and do a turn and sing a song. And the song that I always used to do, which I knew that I could, regardless of how lubricated I was, I could always keep reasonably in tune, was the Van Morrison song Brown Eyed Girl. And that's just like one of those songs that's just right in my range. And I used to busk it a lot with my brother on the guitar. I know the song inside and out. I've played it for years and years, sung it. So that was always the song that I did for, I used to choose to do for karaoke. So there you go. That's that. Okay. The third question: 3 desert island albums. That was quite difficult because there's so many albums and so many artists that I have favorite albums of, and to sort of to sort of whittle that down to just 3 choices was very, very difficult. But the way I tackled it was to think in terms of, well, my favorite band overall are probably the Beatles. And I thought, well, what's an album that I could take that's got a bit of everything on it? And I've elected for the White Album, because this is kind of, contributions individually from all of the Beatles, really. Obviously, Ringo did, Don't Pass Me By. But Harrison had, I think, 4 songs on this. And then the remainder was shared between McCartney and Lennon. But there's so many different styles. It's so eclectic, this album. And obviously being a double album as well, so you get more bang for your buck in terms of songs. But yeah, I mean, back in the USSR, Obladi Oblada, Bungalow Bill, Martha My Dear, Why Don't We Do It in the Road, Mother Nature's Son. You got acoustic, blues, you've got old time musical like Honey Pie, or sort of harking back to the 20s, comedy songs like Rocky Raccoon, story songs, psychedelia, sort of John Cage, weird, sort of almost Stockhausen-ish stuff like Revolution 9, which probably isn't one of my favorite songs on this album, but it's still an important part of the album. But yeah, it's got a bit of everything on it, so I figured that would be, being as though I'm only limited to 3 albums, this would keep me going, and sort of cover most moods that I would find myself in. So yeah, I guess I was thinking more practically than anything else, I suppose, with that one. But yeah, I mean, obviously it's a classic album anyway, isn't it? So okay. The second one was this one, which I thought I'd pick an instrumental album. This is a Windham Hill album by an artist called George Winston, and this is December. And I love this. I absolutely adore this album. It's piano solos, but the way he plays, and it's just so evocative. And as soon as I put this on, it just takes me places, it's sort of sadly beautiful. I don't know, Thanksgiving I love. I mean, some of these are obviously reworkings of old traditional pieces and classical pieces. Some of them are self-penned. It's got a wonderful version of adaptation of Holly and the Ivy, which I absolutely love, and was the track actually that turned me on to this. Just beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Some Children See Hymns, just wonderful. Peace, the last track, beautiful. Yeah, so that's George Winston and December. Okay. And the third one is just an album that I only discovered probably about 3 years ago, but I really feel that I couldn't be without now, even though I've played it to death ever since I bought it, and deliberately haven't played it for a while, so I can kind of revisit it again with perhaps a fresh ear. And this is Judy Sill's first album. It's just amazing. I love this album. Her voice, the beauty of her voice, just it's just, it's heartbreaking and uplifting, bittersweet, just a roller coaster. You listen to this. Yeah, fabulous. Absolutely love this album. And yeah, just one that I wouldn't want to, if I wouldn't want, now this album has become a part of my life, I wouldn't want this album to not be part of my life. Yeah, just wonderful. Okay. Question 4. Album artwork you could stare at for hours. Well, I mean, there's countless albums that with great artwork, from the psychedelic era and particularly the prog era, those wonderful Roger Dean covers, the Yes albums and so on. Any number of those you could pick, but this one is one that I always, whenever I play this album, I always end up finding myself staring at, and it's Captain Fantastic by Elton John. I mean, that is just that's just a amazing cover. Just the detail on there is just phenomenal. Tower of Babel, the Captain. I mean, they're all representative of the songs on this album, which of course is very autobiographical for both him and Bernie Taupin. For they're going through their early days of when they started off writing together and so on. But just the colours, and it's just wonderful, isn't it? You really can just go to town on this and just keep looking deeper and deeper into it and seeing loads of different things all the time. Every time I look at this, there's something new. There's so much detail in it. So yeah, that's probably one of my favourite album sleeves, and one I can certainly look at for hours and hours on end. So there we go. That's my entry all sewn up. So Chris, once again, many congratulations on your 200 subs. Hope you get many more. Thanks for putting the competition together. I always like doing them, but there's just so many. I find it difficult to keep up with them, but I do try and do as many as I can when I can do them anyway. So, but cheers, guys. I'll be probably back on again tomorrow. I've going to my record shop. I've got a Grail coming up. Who knows what else he might have found for me as well. And there is a record fair in Birmingham as well, which I'm planning to go to on Sunday. So lots to look forward to this weekend. I hope you guys are all having a great weekend, spinning loads of vinyl, enjoying yourself, having a bit of a drink here and there maybe. Cheers, guys. I'm on the Hop House again, as usual. Enjoy yourselves. Take care. Bye-bye.